When I think of nuclear technology, like many others, I think of nuclear bombs which tear apart atoms. The first nuclear bomb was used in Japan in World War II. Since then, nuclear technology has advanced greatly, sparking an increasing fear in a potential nuclear apocalypse in the future.
The two main uses of nuclear technology I am aware of are an energy source and weapon. Nuclear energy is being used by many leading countries today as it is increasingly yielding, especially for large populations, but the waste that it leaves behind is responsible for the destruction of entire ecosystems by killing or causing mutations in organisms around it. Even though new technology is being made every day to ensure that the waste is cleaned up, it is just not worth the accidents such as Fukushima and Chernobyl until an ultimate cleaning and storage method is found. The issue of it being used as a weapon is no less threatening. Even though humanity has been able to hold out dropping nuclear weapons onto other countries ever since the USA did so to Japan in World War II, the risks are no less threatening today. North Korea is a prime example of a nation that has recently launched a successful missile that could hit any part of the USA and the world, really. Nuclear weapons have become a non official checkbox for first world countries, and this race often ruins international relations and creates tensions aside from the obvious threat that they pose to the world.
So I was asked what my perceptions of nuclear technology are. Um, I grew up with the explosion at Chernobyl and then most recently with the tsunami in Japan, and so I think I have a bit of a negative view of nuclear technology. I'm excited about the potential it might have to reduce greenhouse gases, but I'm worried about the safety.
So, nuclear technology. It's a pretty scary word, not gonna lie. Um, any knowledge that I would have on it, I know that there's two different types of like nuclear, there's like two different ways. It's like nuclear fission and nuclear fusion or something. Um, Otherwise, I know it's like really just like the energy that it takes to, isn't it like breaking apart atoms or something? But honestly, I don't have too much information in my brain about that. So, yeah.
I don't know very much about nuclear technology, but I know that it's used to produce energy for human beings, and it has to do with splitting atoms apart and possibly putting them back together in fission and fusion. And it has maybe some environmental concerns, but it also has a lot of potential.
Nuclear technology is a way that we have of generating large and very large amounts of energy by splitting atoms, and it's used in the world today for generating power and for weapons. So it's a very, very powerful tool that humanity has.
I really have no idea what nuclear technology is. I'd guess that nuclear warfare comes from the science involved in nuclear technology, but that's about all I know.
Everything everywhere consists of tiny objects called atoms, consisting of protons and neutrons as subatomic particles that make up the nucleus. Nuclear energy is the potential energy of protons and neutrons in atomic nuclei. Under certain circumstances, the nucleus of a very large atom can be split in two. In this process, a certain amount of an atom's mass is converted to pure energy. Technology developed in the Manhattan Project successfully used this energy in a chain reaction to create nuclear bombs. A while after World War II, power plants were developed and used to produce electricity. Nuclear reactors are major energy sources which produce just under 20% of the electricity in the United States alone. Of the 6 people I asked about nuclear technology, many were not totally sure what it was exactly, but they all saw nuclear technology as a source of energy with great potential for advancement. On the contrary, however, some said that nuclear technology leads to environmental disasters with the use of weapons, like the atomic bomb, which was used in World War II to drop on Japan. A common belief is that nuclear energy leads to the release of radioactivity, which causes mutations and even death. Everyone I interviewed was correct, but what they knew was limited. Anissa and Lev spoke about the concept of splitting an atom to produce energy in a process called fission, and even combining them back, which is called fusion. Fission is the splitting of large atoms such as uranium and plutonium into two smaller atoms, called fission products. To split an atom, you have to hit it with a neutron. Several neutrons are also released, which can go on to split other nearby atoms, producing a nuclear chain reaction. Fusion is the combining of two small atoms, such as hydrogen or helium, to produce heavier atoms and energy. These reactions can release more energy than fission without producing as many radioactive byproducts. Many are worried about whether nuclear energy is safe. The popular belief is that nuclear power and nuclear weapons are almost exactly the same, which is not true. Nuclear weapons are what cause large numbers of death, but nuclear energy in general will not necessarily do the same. In fact, contrary to popular belief, nuclear energy is among one of the safest sources of energy in use, especially compared to that of coal. In the case of the Chernobyl incident, for example, the number of expected deaths were rather low compared to that of coal, which is responsible for the deaths of over 10,000 people in the United States alone per year.